Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Amirah Nur Aqilah binti Abdul Rahim. My number matric 1231872. Today I will be presenting my critical review for the course QNR2043 on the article titled Recent Research on the Construction of the Quran by Gerhard Bowery. In this presentation, I will address the claims made by modern Western revisionist scholars regarding Quranic preservation and provide the academic rebuttal to dismantle their premise. Moving on to the second slide, this research focus on Prof. Dr. Gerhard Bowery, who is a leading Western academic specializing in early Islamic history and Quranic studies. The reason why he was chosen, along with the core issue of this study, is to critically examine the Western analysis of Quranic compilation. Throughout his work, we can see a major problem which highlights how revisionist scholars completely reject early Islamic oral history and falsely claim that the text changed over a long period of time. Now, let's look at the biographical background of Prof. Dr. Gerhard Bowery. He was born in Germany and is also a Jesuit priest. He obtained his PhD from McGill University and is a long-serving professor of Islamic studies at Yale University. His main research areas include Quranic study, Sufism, and Islamic intellectual history. Throughout his career, he has produced several major publications such as The Mystical Vision of Existence in Classical Islam in 1980, The Minor Quran Commentary of Sulami in 1999, and most recently Islamic Political Thought and Introduction in 2050. Moving on to slide 4, which is cover the focus article titled Recent Research on the Construction of the Quran. This article was published in the book The Quran in its historical context back in 2008. What this article does is that it maps out contemporary Western academic debates on the formation and textual history of the Quran. The purpose of the publication is to show how Western scholars analyze the transition from oral transmission to the written text and why they often question our traditional timeline. The impact of this work is hard because it becomes a major reference point in the West. It heavily influenced how modern Orientalists view the Quran, creating a shift where they try to apply literary and historical critical methods to challenge the divine preservation of the text. Okay, moving on to slide 5, which is discuss the scholar criticism. There are three main challenges raised by Western revisionists. First, Quranic authorship, which is Claude Gilliard interprets the text as a slow, progressive product of collective human work rather than a divine revelation. He is basically challenging the origin of the Quran by saying humans wrote it together over a long time period. Second, regarding foreign and Sharia influence, which is Andrew Rippin and Sidney Griffith assert the presence of Sharia linguistic roots and borrow Christian narrative such as the story we find in Surah Al-Kahf They claim the Quran is not entirely original, but copy from existing culture. And the last one, under textual alteration claim by David J. Stewart, focus on medieval and modern emendation, claiming that physical correction and change actually occurred in ancient manuscript. He tried to argue that the physical text we have today has been modified from its original. We move to the argument and analysis. First, which is Cloud Gilead regarding the Quranic authorship challenge. The claim made by Gilead is that the Quran was not a divine revelation, but rather a progressive human collective work that developed over a long time. However, my analysis show that he has a flawed logic. He treats the Quran like ordinary human literature, completely ignoring the unique oral history of Islam. For academic backup, we can easily dismantle his claim because from day one, the Quran was preserved through an unbroken chain of mass memorization known as mutawatir. To support this expert view from Professor Dr. Muhammad Mustafa Al-Azami, introduced the concept of the double system, which proved that the Quran was tracked through simultaneous oral and written verification at the exact same time. From an Islamic perspective, this proved that living humans' memory is always the primary method and preservation, while writing as a backup tool. Therefore, Gilead's theory of human composition is completely invalid. Second argument and analysis, which is address the foreign and Shirik's influence claimed by Scully Andrew Rippin and Sidney Griffiths. The claim here is that the Quran allegedly borrows Shirik's linguistic element and copy Christian tradition, such as the story of the companion of the cave or Ashab al-Kahf. However, this argument has a flawed logic. This scholar falsely assumed that just because there is similarity in historical narrative, it automatically equals plagiarism or copying. From an Islamic perspective, we counter this by looking at the concept of unified divine origin. The shared story in the Quran do not prove plagiarism. Instead, they prove that all true revelation throughout history come from the exact same sources, which is Allah SWT. For our academic backup, this truth is firmly anchored in the Quran itself in Surah Al-Hijr, verse 9, where Allah says, A'udzubillahi minasyaitanir rajim, Inna nahnu az-zikra wa inna lahu lahafizun, which translate to, indeed, it is we who send down the Quran, and indeed, we will be its guardian. This divine guarantee completely refutes any claim of human borrowing. Lastly, we look at our third and last arguments, which address the textual alteration claim brought up by David J. Stewart. The claim made by Stewart is the ancient Quranic manuscript contains textual change and emendation, basically arguing that the text was modified over time. However, this argument has a major flaw logic. He completely confused variation in early writing style and pronunciation dialects with actual change to the message itself. He doesn't understand that the core meaning never changed. For academic backup, We can crush this claim by looking at the Sahih al-Bukhari, hadith number 4986. The evidence in this hadith prove that during the compilation, Zaid bin Thabit used a rigorous double witness verification system for every single written verses. It was not just simply copy, it had to be backed by flawless oral memorization and verified by two witnesses. From an Islamic perspective, any variation found in early manuscripts were merely different dialect spelling known as Aruf or Rasam. There was officially standard during Caliph Uthman time to eliminate confusion among non-Arab Muslims, which ultimately ensured the absolute integrity of the text we read today. Conclusion. Ultimately, despite Western scholarship dismissal of oral history, the Quran integrity remains absolute due to its unique dual preservation system, oral and written. For the future research, we must synthesize traditional Islamic science with academic method to rigorously counter Orientalist premises. That concludes my presentation for today, and thank you.